Is there anything in particular anybody would like to talk about today? Their lives, news, current affairs,
I don't know.
monkeypox?
I think it's fucking weird how much people seem to be getting engaged around the MMA judging over last week's card. I just feel like there've been some really egregious decisions. Why the fuck are we picking up on two very, very close fights? Two fights that are just objectively very close. Like, I guess as long as people starting to care a bit more about it. You see the head of the ABC is kind of throwing his toys out of the pram a little bit about this.
Is that the guy who did the interview about needing to teach corners about how to judge rounds or something like that?
I could believe it would be the same guy. It's Mike Murzioli, something like that.
I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the same guy.
He kicks off his rant saying in football, in basketball, you have elite coaches that have never played at the highest levels. So right off the bat, we're already doing a lot better with boxing and MMA because we've got some judges that have black belts in like karate and stuff, and we have some referees that have competed in different like mixed martial arts or different martial arts forms. And I'm like, yep, same as every other sport, so it's not really a feather in your cap. Also completely sideways to this argument, and then sort of comes out saying like all the commentators and all the fighters can come out to their conference at Niagara Falls and it'll make sure they get free entry so they can learn about judging. It's like, I'm glad that they have conferences and I'm glad that there's some sort of like lecture on judging, but like obviously it's not up to fucking standard. There's a lot that could be like reviewed, changed, implemented.
We can definitely talk about that. We can just go on a few things. Do some start with a bit of a recap of where everyone currently stands in our picks competition.
I don't want to do
how
that.
much I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, let's skip that.
Who won the picks last week?
No one knows.
Did I win the picks?
I don't think so.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
I won the fucking picks, didn't I?
You're now in the lead.
Why would
I'm in
you
the lead
even
what?
bring it up?
Because we have to be fair and honest.
And we have to be fair. We don't have to be
about
honest to his
something.
face. Like,
Wait, so just to clarify,
You won the picks last week.
I won the picks last week
Yeah,
Yeah.
won. You have a 1 point lead with 2 weeks to go.
with 2 weeks to go. Is there like a season closing?
well,
So I'm not very good on the rules.
yeah. So we do need to figure out what we're going to be doing as the punishment. So me and Matt would kind of start to kind of spitball it, but obviously now there's 3 of us, so it'd be a really good time to quickly talk about it. We could even leave this in the fucking podcast. I don't know where to make the cuts anymore. Me and Matt were saying maybe.
Well, let's just do an intro and get.
Yeah, that was a warm, cold open. Not too chilly, just right. I think people would be happy with that. Introduce this bitch.
British weather, a British weather open.
A British summer open.
So yeah, so I'm in the lead. That's all that counts. I'm really glad. I'm really
Well-
happy. So what prizes will there be for the leader?
This
So-
is what we need to discuss. So
We're thinking
let's do
maybe-
a nice little intro.
Gotta do the intro, yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome back to the MMA Split channel. There are 0 fights happening this weekend, so no pick show. Instead, we are doing a non-MMA show, or as I would like to call it, an NMA show, where we're going to talk probably still about MMA because we're sad idiots that don't do much else with our lives, certainly me and Josh. And we've got a few other things that we can talk about. We're going to talk about a bit of judging, the state of our current pick show, maybe a bit of monkeypox. Who knows? Lots of stuff going on in the world. I'm sure that we can kill an hour or so. First and foremost, Sly, you were back after a few weeks away. How was your trip? How was your Wakana festival? How was Belgium?
Yeah, it was nice, I guess. It's nice to be home. My back was hurting. It's getting better, but it was hurting. Hopefully soon I'll be fine.
Your
nice.
back
Yeah.
is hurting.
Yes, I am back.
It's hurting. Your back
Yeah,
is hurting.
I don't get it. Is it a joke?
He's saying
It's
your
not a
back
funny
is in
one.
your back and it's hurting. It's a terrible
Um,
joke. It's an absolutely terrible
Wow,
joke.
it's awful.
That's why I'm
Almost-
enjoying it as
almost
much. No, that's
What was worse, his joke or having to sleep on a tent in a hurricane-type weather while your
Um,
back's fucked?
they're different. Like one of them is kind of like long-term pain. You get used to it. Um, and his joke is just awful and it's painful. And I hope it doesn't stay or stick. I hope I can forget about it.
Was it worse than the spider?
Oh yeah, spider climbing my tent, Josh. You'd love that.
yeah, like the
Um,
Anderson Silver kind or
so
the
like a big
non-poisonous
one.
kind.
I don't
Like
know, the big one,
bigger
one,
than your palm.
the big ones. Yeah, I had to chase it out my tent. I was like in pain with my back, middle of the night, hurling winds, pretty intense. Got it out, survived. Um,
Sorry, bro.
still, the joke was maybe worse than that.
Well, it's good to have you back. And before we get into a few other topics of conversation, we have to do some admin on the channel because we've had this pick show going on. We've been doing it as a competition for the last 10 weeks. We have 2 weeks left. Sly's been away for a couple of these weeks. He was away for last week's pick show. He won last week's pick show. Probably with this being the last thing on his mind and doing it last minute. Me and Josh aren't going to lie, we're starting to get pretty upset about this. You keep pulling out these wins, and there's 2 weeks to go. I now can't win. I can only not come in last. You are currently in the lead with 4.5 points. Josh is just behind you on 3.5. I'm on 2, so it's been a rough experience for me. Mike, what is your key? Well, tell our fans how you're pulling off these wins.
Just knowledge.
What?
Knowledge built from education. It's just common sense, really. I tend to always pick the fighter who's going to win. I don't think it's a gift. I think it's something I've worked hard at. Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks to go. We do have to establish what the rules are because we said there'd be a prize for the winner and the punishment of some nature for the loser. I'm obviously looking more and more like I'm going to be that loser, which I'm not delighted about.
Well,
So,
hang on. So before we agree on what the prize punishment thing should be, is it fair to say that we should use this first 12-week stint as like a dry run, like a learning experience, and say that we'll implement whatever we want to do for the prize, for the winner, for the loser, for the next one? Is that fair to say?
I'm in favour of this. I'm greatly in favour of this based on my current situation.
I think we should.
I assume you would be. Obviously, Sly can still win. I can still win. Sly's got a 1 point lead with 2 points left available. How do you feel about it, Sly?
I feel like we should practice giving myself an award. How are we going to know how to give a proper award in 12 months or in 12 weeks if we can't do it properly in the practice run? Like a mock award at least. Like, instead of like buying me like, I don't know, a whole car, just...
No, I want to give you an opportunity to be the bigger man here. There's 3 of us. I'm definitely going to outvote you now, just on the back of what you said. Like,
I was curious why you made me want like
learn to control the
come
vote.
here for like a podcast when there's no fights.
Well,
So, oh, we're gonna make him come over. There's a podcast with no fights, and we're just gonna lobby him, and then we're gonna vote him out.
yeah, pretty much.
He can't get a prize
basically.
because he's doing way too well on the picture, and you guys are
I
really upset.
might change my mind, but it really depends. So, an idea I threw out, and we started kind of workshopping a little bit, because it's quite broad. As like a good kind of, there's a lot you could do with it. But basically, something along the lines of like 30 seconds of how. So, say for example, you win and I lose. You got to pick something that I've got to do on the podcast for an amount of time. So we could do it a fixed amount of time. We could do it the amount of time based on what the punishment, the task is. But say for example, it's like, you know, sing the national anthem while you're standing on your chair. I don't think anyone wants to see more than 20 seconds of that. If
I don't think
it's
anyone wants to deal with that.
yeah, if it's get a little spicy with the cucumber, I reckon I could do 20 minutes.
I don't think anyone wants to see that either.
Debatable.
I feel like it would
I've
have
got an
to be
OnlyFans
something
account,
like-
begs to differ, bro. Not really.
Something like an ice bath for like a minute or something like that, maybe.
Again, that's a lot of the cost of that ice is a.
That's the
intense.
first thing I thought. Yeah. But something like that. Do you know what I mean? Would
We don't have
would
a
that
bar.
float your boat? You have any interest in this idea?
I don't know, but it feels like Matt's gonna eat cinnamon for 30 seconds.
That's not a bad suggestion, but I'm not. I'm only agreeing to that if we can implement it for the next pick show competition. It is not fair to establish something
Yeah.
this late in the game.
Yeah,
and I
we-
feel very robbed by some of my picks. Like, fucking Dusko Todorovic, man. He couldn't have just not fucked up against Chibi. Would have changed my situation. But fuck it. Cinnamon's not a bad shout. That's a classic. And I once did that, and it wasn't even a punishment. I just didn't understand what was going to happen. I felt very stupid afterwards. Guy told me he'd give me £1,000 when I was working in the bar if I successfully ate a spoonful of cinnamon with no water in less than a minute. And for £1,000, I was fucking damn confident I was going to get it done. And having to stare at that motherfucker smirk the whole time because he knew it wasn't going to happen. Physically impossible.
No, you should have got a cash out at £100.
Didn't offer a cash out, mate. He knew that money was safe. He
Mm.
knew that money was safe. But no,
Anyway.
cinnamon I like. That could be a good one.
Yeah. So do you like the idea? Do you like the concept?
Yeah.
Is there anything you change?
Okay.
And again, we're not marrying this. You know what I mean? It's just something we can implement, possibly for this one, probably not, probably for the next one. We could always take a look at it after that.
Okay, that could work.
What does the winner get?
The winner gets to decide what the task is. But I know what you mean. It's not like a huge bow, but I think it's a lot of power to give a person. You know, it's
So
basically
there's no
controlling
like
that
McDonald's
person.
meal or anything like that. There's no food bonus for the winner.
I guess we could all kick in like a small amount of money at the start of each one, like a £5 or a £10 or
I'm
something.
just having a look. You know I love my food, Josh.
Maybe a gram of weed between second and third place has to be bought for the winner.
I don't know. That's. I don't know about that.
You have to get a McDonald's saver menu for the winner. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Maybe just all kick in a £5 at the start of the 3-month thing. You know,
Fiver. Ooh.
it's only going to cost
That's
us
weird.
£20 a year. Well, a little bit
Yeah,
more.
that works for me. So you get a cash prize. It's like the first season of our fantasy. There's a cash prize, and the loser suffers a little bit.
So I need to. Josh.
Yes.
How much did you say it was going to cost you a year? 20 quid.
Yeah. We're doing it every 12
Each.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I could make an extra 40 quid a year. Decent.
Loving Josh's 48-week years there as well.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I did say it's going to cost a little more than that. I was ballparking it. And if you like my 48-week year, well, stay tuned, folks, because I got a 20-hour day for you. How do you like that? Just did it. Boom. Not really. All the clocks are still the same. I have no power. Not even in my own house. Do you know what I mean?
Do you ever wonder if there's a guy who just decided something like that? He's just like, fuck the Gregorian character and time system. I'm functioning on an 18-hour day.
With
Just
the
live his
days,
whole life like that.
no. But with the years, yeah. I mean, well, shit. No, we have different days across the world. Like, not everyone does like daylight savings. Not everyone does daylight savings on the same fucking day. It's insane to me that some
America
countries.
does it differently for one.
Yep. And they got multiple time zones, which I fucking hate because it's like if I just had to deal with the difference between us and the East Coast, I would stay up for these events. I wouldn't get upset that the Eagles have got 4 or 5 primetime games slated for next season. That's like a third of the season I'm going to miss. Do you know what I mean? Very frustrating. I don't like the way time works, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of linear time either. Why can't I pick and choose? Why can't I go back and relive some stuff? It's fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think the Chinese have a different calendar and a different New Year's, but it's still a 365-day year. Like, that's the one thing we figured out.
We still worked out that we're spinning around some shit, you know.
Yeah.
That
True.
is if the Earth is not flat, which obviously we can't prove.
Well, I mean, we can prove it very easily.
Yeah.
But do you think flat earthers, that's one of the other things, like they're not doing it at the moment, but maybe that's the next criticism, is like the year's wrong because that's only based on the conspiracy that we're round, and actually a year could be, I don't know, fucking 10 months.
Whatever you do now, we can put on the title of the video Flat Earth, we'll get loads of views.
Well, have you seen how Josh has been trying to get us more views recently?
It's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it.
I knew you'd be a fan. I knew you were on board. We're like
Did it work?
two horses in tandem,
the
you and
Lucy
me.
Godinez one did, because we got like 70 views on that one. And Tom and two other people both said to me, and when I say Tom and two other people, I mean Tom and Laurie, both said to me that they thought it was like the actual fight that we were putting on.
Wow.
What's worse is that Josh almost put, I think this was
Champions League final live. Click here.
Champions League final live.
I saw that.
Oh, of course, it was in the group chat.
I'm okay with it. I don't feel bad about it at all. It's weird. I thought I'd have more integrity. I don't. Sorry, what was that?
I just don't feel like it's the method that we want to like
Well,
utilize.
okay,
I feel
the
like there's
Champions
more
League.
kind of basic positive stuff
No.
that we can do.
But I think for the loopy fight, I don't think that's a bad way to do it. I think that's a very good, borderline organic way for us to continue building. And if you disagree, well, fucking make some noise in the comments, you quiet little bitches. I don't see anyone slating us in the comments, disagreeing about this stuff. I think the kids like it, guys. I think they're into it. I think Josh knows what's good for you.
It's not how we want to get views, but moving on to some very clickbaity topics that might get us some views because they're hot topics at the moment. Today is the closing arguments of the court case of the decade, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. I know that Sly's been away, so maybe he's fallen out of some of the more recent updates. Josh, I know you've been kind of following some of the memes, but not so much.
Well,
Have
yeah,
you seen any more?
I feel like there's nothing that's really come out that I didn't already know because of how much Reddit hates Amber Heard, and because I use Reddit most days. So yeah, I've just been like reliving. Basically, I feel like someone's just going through and curating all of the worst shit that Reddit have ever said about Amber Heard, and they're getting lawyers to talk about it in a courtroom with cameras. It's very weird. Very fucking weird. The Depp Heard round the world. Sorry.
I feel like she definitely thought she was a much better actress than she actually is. Because she clearly thought she was going to be able to sell some shit down the river with this. And it has become painfully obvious that she is dramatically miscalculated. How do we all think it's going to go? Do we think Johnny Depp's going to get some 50 mil?
I think they're probably not going to like live together after this.
I don't think they live together.
Yeah.
At the moment. I don't think that was the issue.
No,
I don't think there's going to be much makeup sex either.
Well, not with each other.
No, but
Probably not.
yeah, Depp's going to be getting laid like crazy off the back of this. Good for you, John.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
probably deserve it.
if you believe the rumours, he's going to be having some banging relief sex with his mega fit lawyer, Camille Vasquez. Jesus Christ, if you ever get arrested for anything in Virginia, this is clearly the lady that you need on your side, because she has kicked ass all fucking trial.
I can't afford her.
Yeah, here's the thing though. When you marry a lawyer, well, you know, if you were to marry a lawyer to get romantically involved to that extent, like Dre did, lawyers know other fucking lawyers. There's no way you don't get gouged in the divorce. If you're going to marry a lawyer, you better damn sure be doing it for love. And I don't know why you would love them, because they're a lawyer.
Do you not think, though, that this is a little bit like it would just clean everything? Like, if both of them, if two lawyers marry each other and they get divorced, do they just mediate their own situation? Like, do they approach it just being like, well, we both know what the situation is here. We've got this already pre-arranged. We're going to do an equal divide.
Well, they know how it goes. They know the rigmarole of it all. You know, they know what to say, what not to say. I think it probably is a quicker, more efficient thing, unless one of them fucked up and the other one's got some dirt. If you've done something and your partner knows where the bodies are buried, and your partner is a lawyer, you're kind of fucked. Well, I mean, you'd be fucked in that situation, whatever your partner did. But if your partner was a lawyer, that's definitely like, outside of them being law enforcement, that's worst case scenario.
Yeah, Yeah.
So what would you prefer? Would you prefer a wife or girlfriend who's a lawyer or policewoman?
Lawyer.
Policewoman, definitely.
Oh,
I'm taking the lesser of two
Definitely.
evils. I'm going lawyer.
discuss.
Not a
Go
big
on,
fan of
Josh.
organised authority, and I think that any relationship that I'm involved in, requires a very patient human being with a lot of empathy and sympathy, which are not traits that lead to you being successful as either law enforcement or legal counsel. So I just don't think it would ever happen, and if it did, it wouldn't last long, and I would definitely get fucked over because I'm a mug. So,
Given the choice, lawyers work longer hours.
easier to cheat on. Yeah.
There are good police. There are good police. There are definitely good police women that care. Not all of them are bad. And it's the case of what benefit would I get? So, do I want the person who might be able to get me out of less shit when I'm already arrested and in trouble? Or do I want to have the connection that fucking closes that door before the charges come in?
I think of it like this. One of those Christmas parties is going to be a lot of cocaine, and you can help yourself. And at the other one of those Christmas parties, there's going to be a lot of cocaine, and you better not fucking touch any, because I'm a policeman and I will fucking arrest you. Definitely
I was
lawyer.
going to say because lawyers...
Go on, because lawyers...
Because lawyers are stingy, and technically, even if you once you give cocaine, even if you do it for free to your friend, you are now selling cocaine legally. So a lawyer would know not to do that shit.
No, I bet their Christmas parties are off the fucking chain. Law enforcement, on the other hand,
everyone probably
can't trust them.
I imagine everyone just brings their own cocaine. That would be my
Yeah.
assumption. Like, they're all rich, they all earn good money, and I have a friend who's a lawyer, and she says everyone brings their own cocaine. So
Yeah.
And they work very long hours, man. That's the shit thing about lawyers. Like, you know, just feels like, you know, even like you look at these court cases, like they've been working on this non-stop for like 2 years or something like that. Same fucking case, reading through thousands and thousands of fucking crazy shit, stupid text messages back with each other, photos, all these different experts. Like, you know, I mean, that's a long fucking time to be 100% married to your job.
Yeah.
Like, everything else is put to the side.
Well, yeah, if you're putting in 60 to 100, no, not 100, but if you're putting in 60 to 80 hours as a lawyer, depending on what you do, the chances are you're a bit of a lightweight dosser. If you're not putting in like 80 to 100, then it's very hard to be like a really, really successful lawyer. It's basically working 2 jobs. That's why you get paid like you got 5 jobs, because you're really working 2 jobs. Fuck
Yeah.
that though. Actually, I read a really funny thing during lockdown. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, not all of them get paid that great, man. Like, if you look at the American system, like the public defenders are picking up, you know, really not as much as you'd think. Like, you have
Yeah.
to kind of get into like a good firm. And
Well, it's a very
even then
competitive
you start
market.
into the fucking...
It's a very competitive market. So even the people making fuck all, like public defenders, ambulance chasers, the ones that work for like the fucking no win, no fee injury lawyers and shit like that. You know, they make what we make, but it's, you know, they've got a way higher fucking ceiling. Actually, that's not true. Doing what I do, or doing what like we do, potentially we could be making as much. It's just a lot fucking harder, and it's the same amount of work as being that rich as a lawyer. Saying I'm not really that fussed about putting that much work and having that much money. Just have a super fantastic podcast that brings in 0. Champions League final click here live.
Well said. Well said. Also, I always feel like lawyer's one of those jobs that, like, it's like the stereotypical, like, parents that want their kids to succeed go to these, like, be a doctor or a lawyer. Both of those jobs are fucking horrific. If you don't really love it, like, you're going to have a miserable life. You never have parents be like, be slightly successful in business and have balance, or, you know, hey, just make a load of fucking money in an easy way. It's always like these, no, you have to work really hard, and in reality, there's a variety of things that if you put the same amount of time into, would yield a far greater amount of profit, just with a greater amount of, like, risk. Whereas once you've got the cases and once you're established as a lawyer, like, I mean, even shit lawyers make money. You know what I mean? If you're a defense lawyer, it's just like, hey, what can I say? Most of my guys are guilty. We don't have a great success rate. I'm still going to get people employing me.
Do people just use only defense that happen? Is it like football?
No, but like that's kind of the big money in like America. Is being a criminal defense attorney, or being like a corporate attorney.
Prosecutions tend to be state. So it's the government, or it's the state, or it's the federal, whatever.
Yeah.
That's federal court that's prosecuting you. So those tend to be your. I mean, really, if you go into prosecution law, a lot of the time it's because there's a politics career that's following.
Yeah.
So you do it because you want to have like a tough on crime, good success record, make connections. Then you run for like a DA or some shit, and then you use that to fucking move along.
Yeah.
Whereas defense attorneys tend to be your hard lows. Like, no, I'm a lawyer. I'm about the law.
Right.
Or what you'll get is you'll get like corporate lawyers, where they work for like big corporations, big businesses, and it's those people that just like, hey, I just need a lawyer on retainer. Like, we're a big business, things come up all the time, we've got contracts all the time, and that's the type of law that you do. That's where the big money is really. Like defense lawyers, you've got a few stars that really do well, but most rich people don't go to trial. What they need is day-to-day contracts, mergers, all this kind of stuff. Have you ever seen Suits?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
a little bit pretty boring.
It's a little boring,
Yeah.
but those types of situations that they deal with is what a high-end law firm looks like. It's this big clients on retainer, something pops up every now and again, and then they'll have a big thing, and really they just make all the interns do all the work.
Let me get a drink.
Do you think?
Yeah, as a defense lawyer as well, you don't even necessarily need to like get them acquitted of anything. It's like the guy from The Staircase, the lawyer for the majority of it, like the lawyer he has at the start for the first trial. I think that guy made his name for himself by getting like a professional athlete a much better deal or less years for like a drive-by shooting or an attempted murder charge, something like that. I can't fucking look this shit up because it's gonna make my MacBook shit the bed.
Yeah.
Fuck it, it's the bullshit episode. I think of them as the Dave episodes, but the NMA I kind of like as well. That did tickle me.
Yeah, it kind of came to me. I thought maybe in the first title just put NMA and then in brackets non-MMA, and then anytime we do this we can just call it the NMA.
Well, depending on whether I upload it, like sort of today, tomorrow, or Sunday, it's probably going to be Champions League final again, or playoff final.
Please, mate.
Championship
Please don't.
playoff final.
Please don't. And obviously today or tomorrow means nothing to the people listening to this, because you are watching this whenever you watch this.
Yeah.
It could be today. It could be 2 years down the line after we're hyper successful and people are going through. Let's watch the early underground videos. Let's see how these guys got started.
Well, no, it won't even be that. It's just when we get big enough, you know, fanatics, incels, journalists are just going to start going through every minute of everything we've ever recorded to try and find all the bad shit we said. And I can't wait.
That's our target.
Just more views,
Josh,
baby.
Right there. Fanatics, incels, and journalists.
Yeah. Hey.
That's the audience that we're trying to reach.
Yeah, if you're a weird piece of shit trying to catch me saying something racist, don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Maybe the week after.
The only thing is
Oh, wow.
that we're neither QAnon, nor do we hate women, so you won't get that enjoyment content here. But I sometimes say some controversial shit. I mean, we had to edit it out, but if you guys watched our
Don't repeat that.
on Pat Barry and Rosie,
Yeah, we did edit that out. No, Matt, it was a really smooth cut the way I did that, you know? We don't need to... I don't even know, because this makes me look guilty at this point. I didn't even say anything. I jumped in at the appropriate time. I handled it well, I think.
Yeah,
You handled it well. But we fucking cut that shit out.
It's going to leave people with the mystery. But even worse, so I had lunch with my uncle today. He was in town. Super busy guy, like, you know, he's one of those like hyper successful people where like he's got pockets of time and he's always this place and this and all the rest. So he tells me, he's like, hey, I'm coming to Barcelona. It'd be great to see you. And I'm like, great. How long are you going to be here for? And he's like, about 11 o'clock in the morning till about 4:15 in the afternoon. I'm like, that kind of busy. But we got onto the topic of this, funnily enough, and he said some mad shit, mate. Absolutely mad shit that I won't repeat on this show. He's back.
You gotta give us something. You gotta throw people off the Matt and Josh did something bad a couple of weeks ago, Sen. Let's just...
Oh, dude, he was making jokes like related to Kevin Spacey and cancel culture.
Why the fuck is Kevin Spacey trying to get back in the limelight while there's still fucking cases against him? The UK
Dude,
police...
Why did the people that accused him keep dying?
I know,
Why
right?
does he keep doing videos
Yeah.
as the character Frank Underwood? Have you seen this, Sly?
No.
So Kevin Spacey, previous actor of a generation, fantastic performances, all the rest.
1,000 times
Kind of
worse
always
than
been
anything
about-
we've ever said on the podcast also, just to put things in perspective.
Legendary actor. Everyone kind of knew he was a little bit weird. He does a lot of work in London at the Old Vic, like stage acting. And I used to have a regular at my bar, Boma. The guy, what was his name?
Kevin
he's
Spacey.
a big tubby guy. No, the regular I used to have, I can't remember what his name is, but he lived in the Cotswolds. And he had was there for the weekends in London doing business weekdays. And he has a dog, and he would walk his dog past Kevin Spacey's house in the Cotswolds. And he'd say a bunch of times, like, yeah, man, you'd fucking be doing the late night walk, and you'd see a limo pull up, some young, kind of nervous-looking dudes getting out, shoehorned into the house, walk the dog the next morning, limo's back there, guys are walking out, looking a little bit
Hearse,
disheveled.
body bags.
Basically, Kevin Spacey's thing was he liked to pick up young, aspiring straight actors and persuade them to fuck him. Obviously, with them doing it, hoping that it's going to further their career a little bit. And this was it was kind of one of these weirdly known things, but it ends up in the Me Too movement coming out that Kevin Spacey is a little bit of a rapist. And a few boys started, one guy who was 14 at the time started making accusations against him. Now, he had 4 of these cases that were official. And he went away for a little bit, got fired from his TV show where he plays this Machiavellian politician.
Oh,
kind of scheming and doing
try to explain everything away. Yeah, guys, do you know what? I've been sitting on a big secret. I'm gay. And then he thought that was it. There was going to be no follow-up questions.
And obviously the follow-up questions were like, okay, most of us knew you were gay. What the fuck is this about you touching up and raping 14-year-old boys? He goes away, does some weird video talking in the character that he plays on his TV show, saying I've been bad in my time. I've been waiting, holding back for my moment to strike. He ends it by saying as you say, sometimes you gotta kill him with kindness. 4 days later, one of the fucking accusers of him ends up dead.
Okay.
After that, one of them commits suicide. One of them randomly drops the case. There's one case remaining. And he does a video every time that this happens. Still in the character. Almost taunting the screen. It's the weirdest fucking thing that you've seen. It's almost as bad as when O.J. Simpson wrote the book, If I Did It.
No, wasn't it, If I Did It, This Is How I Would Have Done It? Or something like that. It was
Yeah.
a weirdly long title.
And when they released the book on the cover, they had the I Did It in really big, bold lettering. And then in really small font, in a different color that was harder to see, was the if. So if you're walking into the bookstore and you see it on the shelf, the first thing you see
Did it ever hit the shelves?
I Did It. I don't think it did.
I think the
But,
publishers...
you can't...
Yeah, they basically got blackballed. Or blacklisted, sorry. They were just the publishers ate a lot of shit for that. And I understand a lot of people feel, yeah, rightfully so, Josh. You wouldn't have wanted to get that as a Christmas gift. I would have fucking loved to have read that book just the one time,
If you
Just
didn't
have it
do
sitting on my shelf.
If you didn't do it, why not? If you didn't do it, it's a good book.
That was the title.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
What is it?
So
the full title?
it's literally If I Did It, but you can't see the if. The if is actually hidden in different fonts inside of the I.
It's
Like
Sugar
I
Ray
don't know if
in fucking Nathan Barley. Yeah. Shameful. Do you remember Nathan Barley, that Chris Morris, Charlie Brooker one?
I know obviously Brasseye, but I don't remember Nathan
Oh,
Barley.
dude, this sitcom's really fucking funny. You guys should check it out. There's only there's not a lot of episodes. I think it's one, maybe 2 seasons. But he works I can't remember his fucking name now. Julian Barrett from The Mighty Boosh plays like the main guy who is a journalist who basically gets sought out and kind of befriended by this guy Nathan Barley, who is I guess you'd best describe him these days as an influencer, but this is kind of predating Instagram and influencing. But essentially he's just a hipster wanker living it up in Hoxton, just kind of stalking and ruining the life of this journalist who really wants fuck all to do with him. And the magazine he works for is called Sugar Rape. And at one point, they take the sugar, the SUGA, and they put it in the space in the R. So the magazine just says rape. You have to look really closely to see the sugar. The exact same concept, but if guys, if you haven't seen Nathan Barley, I'm talking to you two, I'm talking to all the incels and the journalists trying to catch us saying something stupid. If you haven't seen Nathan Barley, go check it out because it's fucking amazing. It's such a funny show. I'm going to rewatch it this weekend actually.
That reminds me of, you've seen Arrested Development, yeah?
Yeah. I haven't seen the most recent season, and I've only seen season 4 once. I didn't really like it, if I'm honest. But the first
I agree
3.
with you. First 3 amazing. I don't know if you've seen the show, Slide, but one of the characters in it is this kind of like sad therapist who suddenly decides he wants to be an actor, called Tobias Fumke.
I blew myself!
The whole character's ridiculous. He describes himself as a never nude. So at no point in his life is he ever completely naked. He's
Always
weird
got them
fucking
denim
dude, but
cutoffs.
it always cuts back to these like previous things that he's done in his life. And there's this one bit where he's talking about like, yeah, I wanted to break the field by being the first analyst and therapist, making me the world's first analrapist. But he had business, and when he printed the business cards, he realized something was wrong because it was basically spelled anal rapist. If you ever get a chance, it's on Netflix. Arrested Development's amazing.
Yeah.
And all the Tobias Fumke stuff is brilliant. Like, he tries to release this like therapeutic like series to like increase his name and make money, called like Families with Low Self-Esteem, like a psychology like help book video. But it ends up getting mistaken with the popular series Girls with Low Self-Esteem, which is just girls getting topless at spring break, and ends up temporarily making it a massive hit. Arrested Development's amazing.
There's so
Really
much good
clever
shit
as well.
in there. He goes to Carl
Each
Weathers'
joke.
acting school. You got a stew going. That show is basically, they made a show for 3 seasons. It was just about like the funniest fucking TV show that had ever been made, but it just completely flew under the radar. It was a real labour of love for everyone involved. Got
The
cancelled.
big issue with it is
Gone.
big issue with it is it's not one of those sitcoms. It's not episodic, so you couldn't like come in season 2 and just watch a random episode and decide.
Okay, yeah, it's more of a story kind of thing.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
set up
And
jokes
they-
in season
they-
1 that don't pay off until season 3, in season 2, and they will cram so many jokes into a scene that there are literally background jokes. You can rewatch the show 10 times and be laughing at something different every fucking time, because that's how densely they
Nice.
pack in the jokes, and they just drop them. They're not trying to get you to see everything. They just want you to be overwhelmed with like how fucking talented they were at this point in time in making comedy. It's ridiculous. It's like watching Jordan play basketball
This
for
is
3
Arrested Development.
seasons. Yeah, and then it falls off the face of a fucking cliff when they bring it back. So sorry, they
They brought
cancelled
it
it,
back like 10 years
Yeah.
later.
and they did this high concept thing for the
And
4th
the problem-
season where they just reshot the same episode from someone else's point of view each time, and it did not work well in my opinion.
So you would see the entire series worth of storyline in like 2
Mm.
episodes for one character from their
Right.
point of view, and then it would go to the next character. But the problem is you were breezing through so much story and only seeing one section that when it comes to like the next character relating to that, you've seen something 2 episodes ago, you can't remember where it's meant to slot into the timeline. It didn't work. But the first 3 seasons, it launched like, it's got great character actors and comedians like Jessica Walters, who does like She's dead now, unfortunately, but she used to do a lot of voice acting and things like she was an Archer.
Right.
Bunch of other good stuff. Michael Cera, do you remember Michael Cera?
Yeah.
He started off in Arrested Development,
No.
like a fresh face, like 16-year-old kid.
No, like a fat
Oh,
little 16-year-old kid.
He's a tubby little fucker.
Really?
In it. Yeah. Clearly, I mean, he's like properly a teenager. He had his ways, but like, oh, he's done.
Check
Yeah.
it out.
But yeah,
it's
this
worth watching. And then like Portia de Rossi, Ellen DeGeneres' wife is in it. Jeffrey Tambor, loads of
David Cross.
quality show. David Cross.
The big one
guy from Saturday Night Live.
I was like Will Arnett and Amy Poehler. Well, Amy Poehler's not really in it. Is it Poehler or Poehler? I always fuck it up. Parks and Rec.
I think both of them.
I doubt that though she says the same thing. Amy Arnett, they are fucking married. Amy Arnett is only in like the first season, but like Will Arnett is an absolute fucking beast. Yeah, dude, they're married. I don't think they met on the show. I think they were already married when they did the show. But yeah, yeah, I know, comedy power couple. Those two, they are so fucking funny. They are so successful, so rich, and so fucking funny. I kind of wish they would adopt me or something. That'd be pretty awesome. Them or Stephen
What's the
Fry.
weird thing about both of them then? Both of them have had like major fucking setbacks in their career. Like it's not like they've just gone from hit to hit. They've done like all sides of it. They've had flops, they've had disasters, they've had hit shows.
Yeah, they haven't got Jay-Z, Beyonce money or success, but they've got Jay-Z, Beyonce talent.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh, Will Arnett's fucking great, man. I love Will Arnett. Even in like the Lego movie as Batman, he's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that thing he did on Netflix though, Murderville?
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. I'm not really that into like improv. I know a lot of it's going to be dog
Yeah.
shit. I'm fine sifting through that. But I did hear there's some alright stuff in it. It's got like Kumail Nanjiani, Ken Jeong, like loads of comedians in it, right? Loads of big stars.
Yeah, Marshall Lynch does an episode. So basically, they have a guest, and he's like a detective, but it's all just like improv comedy, which I tend to find like I quite like things. I don't know if anybody ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah. You never saw that? Shit, there was like
No.
they did an edition of it in like every fucking country, didn't they? I've only seen like the American and the
They
UK
did a
one,
lot.
but I'm pretty sure they did like an
The
Australian one.
American and the UK one. It wasn't like an improv situation or improv sketch. It would be like they have 4 actors and they just give them things that they have to suddenly improvise with certain situations. And all the comedians that did it were really fucking talented. It's one of those things you got to watch. If I don't know how you're getting on with Seinfeld, if you've still got.
Still got some episodes, yeah. Seinfeld's great.
You're watching it for
You
the
get
first
through
time.
Seinfeld.
Yeah. Fantastic.
How do you feel about? Wait, so what season are you on?
8.
Okay, so
It's
this
like
is
at the
after, fucking Larry's left, right? He's not writing the show anymore at that point, I think.
Did he leave the show?
Yeah, I think it's
I
the
don't know
last 2 seasons. You don't Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. Yeah, I do. It's because I've been ingesting edibles.
Remember
It's
that
kicking in.
the old guy? It was quite. I said it was from the guy who wrote
Yeah.
Seinfeld. I didn't realize he left the show at a certain point.
You know, I'm pretty fucking high. I think that's true.
Is it when it changes?
Did you find it getting
It's
less
quite-
funny?
No, at the moment there's still some really funny bits. There was a difference. It changes at one point because they always have the same setup where there's some stand up at the beginning, stand up at the end, and all of a sudden that disappears.
Oh really?
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame. I quite like that little introduction.
Yeah. No, it's really good, but
Yeah.
there's only so much like stand up that he's got that could be cut up that way. You're asking him to write a lot of fucking jokes on top of doing the TV show. I think that's why they abandoned that.
Stand-up comic kind of thought. Also, he was still touring as well, so I bet there's an element of like I don't want to keep giving like
Yeah.
material out.
Yeah.
That's
know,
in
the
series that I don't get paid for.
Yeah, you know the ones he's cutting in. It's not the same shit he's doing or the shit he did last year. It's jokes from when he was first coming up, I imagine. That, you know, he never put on an album or a special or anything, and no one ever really, you know, gave him the credit for it. And not just him, but I reckon all the other stand-ups working on the show were like, oh yeah, let's fucking do this one, let's put this one in. And at a certain point, he feels uncomfortable doing that, and now he's getting into his fresh material and everything else. I'm purely hypothesizing here. It's Friday. I'm a little stoned.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched Seinfeld all the way through. Like, I've seen the early seasons a few times over. And I caught, like,
Also,
the odd
not the
episode
best
here and
stuff.
there. Like, my mum used to be a big Seinfeld.
It finds its feet, and then it gets fucking undeniable. It's just... It's something that everyone should get to experience at least once through the middle series. And then, obviously, it's just very hard to sustain a show for that long. But, Sly, I fucking love Seinfeld. You're watching him for the first time. Give me, like, your 5 favourite moments while I quickly go make a drink. Shouldn't cut to me, I should cut to you guys. That makes more sense.
5 top moments. That's impossible. Like, I couldn't think of, like, on top of my head of
Give me the 5
That's
funniest
all the
moments
shows,
you can
man. It's
think
just
of
nice.
now.
Man,
He's way too high for this.
yeah, top 5 moments. Like, I've written down and thought about it. Usually I watch this shit like in my times of like when my brain is like half dead. I don't wake up and go Seinfeld. I have done it before, but
Well, I'll tell you what we can, instead of talking about top 5 moments. So obviously we're agreeing it's hard, Josh has said it's hard for shows to maintain that kind of level of quality for a long time. What sitcoms do you know, or what shows can you think of where they either got better or the quality stayed from beginning to end all the way through? Like no drop.
Sitcom.
It can be a sitcom, it can be a TV show, because obviously, like, the one most people tend to go to immediately if you say sitcom is Friends.
Friends
But
is good.
I fucking love Friends. I love the last season of Friends. I love
Friends is good
all
the
of
whole
the
way through.
storylines of Friends.
Friends is good the whole way through. And they have to be finished, I guess, because otherwise it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones good the whole way through.
I disagree. I think it really drops off at the end.
No, that's what people... Of course, it drops off, yes. But if you watch the whole thing, right now, if you sit down and watch the whole Game of Thrones,
Oh, it's epic.
you'd be like, this is solid. You wouldn't like think, oh, it's dropped off. It's also, it built a lot more weight at the end as well. So people waiting, and it created loads of expectations. I think if you were to watch the whole thing, you'd still be like, that's insane. It's a great thing. And yeah, it finishes because it had to finish. But that's probably stays good the whole way.
And the obvious one that people go to, and I agree, is Breaking Bad and The Wire. But
Yeah.
even The Wire, a lot of people say the last season isn't that great. I disagree, but I think
No, it's all
Breaking
very
Bad
good.
perfect all the way through.
It's not necessarily like the weakest season, but I think what a lot of people disliked...
About The Wire.
Yeah, The Wire, sorry. But what a lot of people dislike about it, and what I dislike about it, is the angle they kind of took on trying to get more money out of the city by fabricating a serial murder case. I think it seemed a little off-brand, it seemed a little quirky, a little ridiculous. It kind of felt a little bit like they were dialing it in. There were other ways for them to tie in the journalists that could have been way, way better, still without being cliche. There was lots of good, sensible, fresh, original ways to tie in the journalism angle for that series, which I really fucking love. And I can't remember his name, the actor that plays the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist that's reporting on a serial murdering case.
Oh, fuck. What's it called?
That dude, like, is fucking talented, bro. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but he's done like a bunch of different like writing and directing films that I think are really good fucking films. Too high to name any.
I'll look up his
You're
name.
on the
I know
internet,
that he
people. Do
said
your own research.
That role fucked his career.
Really?
I know he said that thing fucked his career. Yeah, he said...
Maybe as an actor.
Really... As an actor, yeah. And I think it's why he ended up doing a lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
I
boo
believe-
fucking who? He's very good at what he does. I'm glad it went as wrong as it did for him to produce what he produces.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because he basically said that his character was so unpopular that people that liked the series just really disliked him because he played the character the way he was meant to. You were meant to dislike him. But it didn't, the season he was in didn't get the same critical acclaim. So he didn't quite get put into the category.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
there's loads of actors. If I show you some of the names, the number of people that made like their big break on The Wire is fucking crazy. I can't find him because he wasn't necessarily a central character. But the cool thing about The Wire as well is, so like season 1 is like the drug dealers, street level guys, and you seeing how it works. Like season 2 is like the docks, so how things get into the city and that kind of side of it. Season 3 is like the politics, so how the politics ties into the drug dealers and
Why the police have no money, why they do what they do.
What happens when the drug dealers get so much money that it gets into donations, and then they're getting like city council stuff, all this kind of shit. Season 4 is completely different because it suddenly takes a massive pivot and just mainly focuses on like 5 kids that grow up in the hood. So it's like all about like how all of the shit then affects like the next generation coming through and the loss of innocence. And the problem is that season was so fucking good. Like, I won't give spoilers in case you watch it, but when they do the journalism season, it just doesn't quite feel as fulfilling. And everyone knew it was the last one.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you're going to end this whole show. And it was a bit like, oh man, like, we've already had the tie-ups to a lot of these other things in different seasons, and this just felt like a bit of an add-on.
It was a bit, some of it was a bit forced, a bit fatigued. But like, the other thing is with season 3, the politics thing was such a cool way to really offer a lot more kind of exposition on the reasons, the decisions, the context behind why things were happening the way they were happening. And it was like, it became the show that it had been threatening to be for a couple seasons there, where they were like, we're going to give you some more fucking action. You know, it's kind of like the sort of Michael Bay season of it. You know, you've got the Brother Muzone and Omar thing. It's fucking insane. And it's just built, so season 1, season 2, they're just kind of like setting up this like fucking monster season. They do season 3 and it's like, where the fuck do you go from here? And in season 4 they're like, well, did we tell you about the kids? Because now we're focusing on the fucking kids. They pull it out of the bag. You think it can't get any better. Season 4 drops, you're like, this is the greatest show that ever was written. So season 5, it was like, it's not a dumpster fire by any means, but that's how people view it, because, you know, like, they didn't shit the bed. It's just that they could never live up to the expectations they had set.
Yeah. And you've got, I mean, some of the characters in it are fantastic. You've got this guy called Omar who literally robs drug dealers. Played by this fucking badass actor. He's got a massive scar down the middle of his face.
He's such a... He's the guy, he's the main actor that the show, isn't he?
Michael K. Williams.
Characters are pretty boring. And it is it Omar, isn't it?
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen the one.
Oh,
he's the one
I didn't realise you'd seen it. Sorry, I was trying not to...
No, I've seen it.
Seinfeld is watching for the first time.
But he doesn't... He's the one that... There's a spoiler alert here. He gets killed off in season 3 or 4, no?
5.
He dies in season 5.
He dies in season 5, in the middle of it. Not at the end. And it's like... There's some episodes without him.
Yeah, he gets shot by just some random kid in a liquor store.
Kennard, isn't it?
It's the most unsatisfying death.
That's the one, because he was such a good character, and he made the whole thing so good. I think there's also a part at one point where he's not there for a few episodes in the middle.
Yeah, well, he kind of does his own thing. So, like, he goes away after a certain point in season 1. He shows up to testify in season 2.
Yeah, there's a few.
And then he fucks off again. He was just like that kind of like presence that would like creep in every now and again. He was you'd never really follow Omar. He would just sort of appear.
But yeah, he was very he carried it every time he was there. I'll tell you another show that I can't remember literally anything about, but I remember that it was good all the way. Is Weeds.
I never saw Weeds.
You know, bro, I got to like season 2 or season 3 and just got interrupted. Didn't like mean to stop watching it. Never got back into it. But I fucking enjoyed that show.
I don't know why, it was just really fun. It was like a...
Because we love stuff about people selling drugs. And Seinfeld.
Maybe that's what we want.
Well, I thought I was going to enjoy it. So I remember watching like the first episode thinking like, about a lady selling weed, this is going to be perfect for me. And something about the first episode did not grab me. I never went back to it. And then a few people said, no, you actually just have to kind of stick through and watch like a couple of eps. And then it really starts kicking off. And I never gave it the chance. One to watch back. I'll tell you, Josh, can you think of any sitcoms where they didn't have like this period where they tail off at the end? Because the one I always think of that I would recommend anybody to watch, because I genuinely think it gets funnier, is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's my
Yep.
friend.
That is a very, very, very strong shout. Me and Kate are actually rewatching that at the moment, and I don't know if you guys know, but they do a rewatch podcast. I don't know if they really rewatch it. I don't think they rewatch it at all actually, but they just talk through the episodes, and they kind of just talk through all sorts of shit. They don't just talk through the episodes. It would be very easy to not notice that it's a rewatch podcast. But they do essentially pick an episode each time and they go through what they're doing and everything else. But it's fucking amazing. So we've been watching the podcast and rewatching It's Always Sunny. Not one podcast, one episode, one podcast, one episode. We're 3 or 4 seasons ahead of where the podcast is breaking shit down. But man, that's fucking cool. Other sitcoms that are that good.
The great thing about...
God, sorry.
I was just going to say, the great thing... Have you seen It's Always Sunny?
No.
The great thing about a podcast is about that sitcom. It breaks all the rules of sitcoms. Like, they're not nice people. There's no redeeming quality. They're arsehole alcoholics running the shittest bar in Philadelphia.
No, tell them the best bit.
They
What do they go and do in season 2?
Danny DeVito.
They went and got Danny DeVito, Sly. Danny motherfucking DeVito is not just
Plays a
in the
millionaire
show.
that decides that he hates his life, so he wants to go back to slumming it like when he was in his 20s. But
Yeah.
with the money to resource living in total squalor. It's outrageous, and in most sitcoms, like, the actors get better looking as it goes on because it becomes successful,
Yeah.
and then they all get fucking facelifts and
Not
in
Mac.
better shape and all this kind of crap. This show deliberately, like, goes from the premise of, like, they're all alcoholics who will progressively just get more and more deranged. So it gets more and more batshit crazy as they all descend, like, into their fucking
Nice.
like vices and all the rest. One actor just decided, I'm just going to put 100 pounds of fat on. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to become fat for a season so we can make loads of fat jokes about it.
Yeah.
And literally just became, like, horrifically obese. Only to make it funny, and then lost all the weight again.
Yeah, it goes... Hang on, wait, I want to get it in shot. My hands are wild. Christian Bale, Rob McElhenney. But it's right there, 1 and 2. That's how it goes.
And he is the bloke that, with Ryan Reynolds, co-owns some fucking just
Wrexham.
promoted into League One Wrexham.
Yeah,
Football club.
Okay, yeah, okay, that guy, okay. Guy that's playing now, okay, right, okay.
yeah. The chin.
Definitely worth a watch.
I
Other couple of things.
I haven't answered your question yet.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Sitcoms that didn't tail off at the end. Okay, first one. I'm cheating here because it tailed off in the middle. Community. Seasons 1 to 3, fucking amazing. Season 4, shoddy with some real bright spots, but very fucking shoddy when they got rid of Dan Harmon. Season 5 and 6, I'm a big fucking fan of. Even with the departures. Even with the cast they lose, I think they did a very, very fine job of replacing people. Strong show to the end, just the one season in the middle that sucked.
What about...
And Peep Show.
Oh, Peep Show, okay.
Deep Show's fucking solid. If anyone says Lost, they're off the podcast.
What about In-Betweeners?
Are we...
Yeah,
Is Lost a
solid
sitcom?
all the way through. No, but we also extended it to dramas and stuff like that.
Is
Oh,
that a drama?
shit.
What is
Oh,
it?
I could do a lot.
What is it?
If we're doing just TV shows, I've got a lot.
In-Betweeners? Is it a sitcom?
In-Between is a sitcom. Situational comedy, for sure.
And
It's teenagers at
It's
school
supposed to
talking
be
about
great.
masturbating. Sitcom.
So good.
Well, a lot of it is very shit. And honestly, a lot of it is very cringy because of how, like, close to home it hits. That is exactly what a secondary school is like in England at any point, I think, between, like, 1980 and 2010. So you got like a good, like, 30-year span where that is exactly what a secondary school is like.
It's so
And-
like that. It's so like on point.
Yeah, that's the redeeming thing for it. Even when it's like really fucking dog shit, I'm like, well, it just kind of feeds into the tone because that's exactly what secondary school's like. So yeah, I can buy into that. I think
The kid,
it's
the
a fair
briefcase
effort.
guy wrote it, didn't he?
Did he?
I think the briefcase guy wrote
Did
it.
he? Mate,
I'm going
I
to
don't know.
check this.
don't know. Briefcase
Let me
wanker.
double check this.
It's not possible, but what I can say is that most of them didn't really do too well after that. Like the guy who played Simon had fresh meat and a couple of things, but he's kind of fallen off. The guy, the
No, I
glasses
think
briefcase guy.
I think a lot of them have transitioned to other roles within the industry. I think the tall, lanky one, I think, is still acting. Can't remember his fucking name now.
I
Fuck
haven't
it.
seen anything, man. I'll tell you who I did see. The one that played. Oh fuck! What's his name? The blonde one.
Jay.
Jay. I've seen him pop up in a couple of different things.
Yeah, yeah. I think all of them are still kind of working on things. That Simon, the one that played Simon, I'm trying to remember the dude's fucking name now. He was on Taskmaster. He was pretty good on Taskmaster as well. Do you guys watch Taskmaster?
Never watched Taskmaster.
Oh, boys. I only discovered it last year.
It's not one of the actual in-betweener guys that wrote it. It's a different guy. So it's two different guys.
No dramas. What is whatever Josh just said?
Taskmaster is, do you know Alex Horn, the comedian Alex Horn? When he's on TV, he does a lot of thing with the horn section, his band. He'll do a lot of musical comedy and stuff, but like he's presented or been a co-presenter on episodes of like 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown and stuff like that. You know, he kind of does like the whole panel show scene, and obviously his comedy. And he devised this television show where he's a very intelligent comedian, does a lot of cerebral humour, and a lot of shit wordplay and stuff like that. The guy likes it cheap and dirty, but with an insane amount of thought behind it. So he devised this TV show. Okay. It's fucking amazing. So Greg Davies, I think it's Davies because he's not Welsh, right? Greg Davies from In-Betweeners, the head of year. It's always giving him all the shit. Like the big dude is like 6'8" or whatever. He is the Taskmaster, and he awards points to the 5 contestants. And it's not a different team of contestants every episode. They do a whole fucking season, so I think it's like a 3 to 6 month process, depending on how involved that season is. Where it's the same 5 comedians or comedic actors or just comedy adjacent people competing against each other. And what they've done is, over the last like 3 or 6 months, they've filmed hundreds and hundreds of different tasks, and they select which ones are going to work best on TV, and then Greg scores them for their efforts. They also do one prize task at the start where they have to bring a prize that everyone else can win. They get scored points on how good their prize is, and at the end of the episode they always have a live task in studio as well. And it's amazing. The tasks are things like, I think one of the first tasks in the first episode is paint a horse while on the back of a horse. So they set up an easel for him on an actual fucking horse, like mounted to the saddle.
Does the horse have to be in motion?
Yeah, it's in motion the whole time. It's not going fucking over jumps and shit, but it's just constantly moving. It's stuff like that. It's very, very weird, inane, frustrating things. So some of the tasks, like, because they've done like 2 or 3 in a day, you know, they're coming into the task and they're already fed up. They're already very angry and annoyed and tired and pissed off. So it's like watching The Apprentice. You're not watching people just, you know, kind of getting prepared and smiling and happy and ready for the camera. You're watching people under duress. It's like watching a torture. And it's fucking hilarious. Some of them are amazing. There's a season going on right now. A lot of them are on YouTube. To be honest. I would start there. It's on... I am not illegally torrenting these, so I am totally aware of what TV station it is on. But I don't want to say right now for reasons not related to memory loss.
Don't worry, I will take that into consideration. Talking about YouTube very quickly, so maybe things sort of before we wrap up the podcast. Little thing for you. So while Sly's away, I'm watching some YouTube, and I've had Key and Peele pop up. You know, the sketch comedians, Key and Peele. Got some 2 black guys.
Keegan Michael Key, Jordan Peele.
Correct.
Wait. Oscar Award winner Jordan Peele, right?
Yeah, great director now. He's moved away from comedy and he's doing all sorts of cool shit, making cool horror movies. But they used to have this comedy show, and these sketches are all on YouTube. They're fucking hilarious. One of them is like rap song confessions, and the premise is it's a rapper, it's in a police station, and the police saying, "I know that you killed this guy Darnell." It's like, "You ain't got nothing on me, bro." And he just plays his latest album, which is him just being like, "I killed Darnell on November 9th at 9 p.m." And the whole thing is he just keeps incriminating himself more and more with the songs. So I'm watching this, and then I see a like reacts video pop up on my YouTube recommended thing, and it's a lawyer reacting to a recent rap song. And obviously I've connected my brain on the two things. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that any rapper in today's day and age would be dumb enough to release a song talking about people that they've killed. It turns out I was wrong, because about a year ago, some Florida rappers called, their names are brilliant, Youngeen Ace, Spinner Benz, Fast Money Goon, and some other guy, released a song called Who I Smoke, which will probably get them all put in prison reasonably soon as they're being investigated. So it turns out that they have quite a beef with some other rappers. Apparently they killed quite a few of these rappers, and so they made a video talking about it, naming these people. Josh, can you hear if it comes from my
That didn't
speaker?
sound like rap. That didn't sound like rap
Exactly,
at
you
all.
hear it.
Pretty sure I recognise that
So
song,
maybe-
actually.
The entire music video is them at a golf course having a splendid time, but the song that they've chosen to sample for this is particularly an odd choice. The song that's going to be about them murdering people. Wait for it. I really hope Josh can hear this.
Oh, I can. What a juxtaposition.
That is Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles. So imagine this, they're all looking happy, you're thinking, well, this is a bit weird. Some gangster rappers looking like they're having a great time on a golf course. Getting really into Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles. And then...
Imagine paying that much money to license that sample and then doing that with it.
Yeah. So the song goes on. The chorus of this song is Who I Smoke, and then the rest of them repeating with the names of the people they've killed coming up on screen. With one of the lyrics talking very specific details about how he was lurking in Houston because he saw this guy's Instagram live, snuck behind, shot him in the head twice, but then he realized that that guy then went on Instagram live in the hospital. He's like, fuck, that guy didn't die. And then lists specific details that he mentions he can only know because he's the criminal, with the lyrics, and you know how I know that for sure, because the media don't report on that, you know. It's quite spectacular. And all to the sound of Vanessa Carlton's 90s classic, 1,000 Miles. That shocked me. Didn't think people would be that stupid.
I did.
Then found out that another rapper who got arrested for something, realised he was fucked, went on the run, made an album called The Race while he was on the run, talking about how I couldn't beat the case and now I'm going to win the race. And obviously they caught him not only because they were able to piece together his whereabouts from clips from the music video, but also were able to arrest a bunch of other people that they saw in his video holding weapons and drugs and guns and all the rest. So he ran away from a 20-year sentence and he ended up with like a 70-year sentence.
Nice.
So I think the moral to that is if you write a rap song, be vague. I kill motherfuckers. Don't mention names. Don't mention locations.
I like that you brought that up as well, because I'm pretty sure that was on the lost episode. The one I accidentally...
Oh, doing a connection, talking about not putting stupid shit online. I don't know why people do this. Why do people tweet every single thought that they have, like the world cares?
Oh, because we're not all in a happy, healthy place. And with that in mind, please comment. I just want to engage with some people a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, I ring Dave every now and again, and he you know, because we're friends, he's just like, doing a good job, pal. I like it a lot. I listen sometimes. He doesn't. He listens all the time. He's the best. But yeah,
Laurie
yeah.
still
Who
listens
else?
all the time.
Yeah, but Laurie
Laurie's
comments.
enjoying the
I'm not
podcast.
talking to Laurie because Laurie's already commenting. Gold fucking star, you pal. Go on, Pins.
I wonder if Trifo, do you remember Trifo from the Twitch stream? I wonder if he still watches. Trifo, if you do, say hi in the comments. Tell us how your life is going. How's America?
Yeah, and if you don't put anything in the comments, we're just going to assume that you're still listening.
Final clickbait thing before we go, because everyone's talking about this. 21 kids were massacred in a school in Texas. This is some fucked up shit. Bunch of fucking 8-year-olds. Well, I don't even know how old they are, but they put pictures up, and those kids have not had puberty, so...
We're not going to deal with this quickly. This is going to be like a half-hour thing. I'm not saying we won't talk about it, but like, if you want to talk about this, I got a lot to talk about. You know.
I don't even know if I do, man. I feel like this is just a...
I think we can just... I don't know.
Well, have you guys
Right,
seen
wait,
the fucking shit they posted about that one of the parents of one of the kids is like a gun enthusiast, and they went through this guy's social media and found posts where he's, you know, promoting a lack of gun control, being like pro-NRA, pro-conservative, anti-liberal, blah blah blah. Pictures of him with t-shirts with like pro-gun slogans and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, the irony and shit like that. I'm like, that dude's kid fucking died yesterday. Murdered yesterday. I understand this is a great opportunity for people that want to enforce greater gun control, you know, to kind of get on a soapbox and say the right things. But who the fuck is... This guy's kid died, was murdered the day before. And they're just fucking slating him on the internet as if he deserved it. His child just fucking got murdered. Like...
Well, dude, there was a speech or something like that the mayor, Beto O'Rourke, showed up to, and basically interrupted it to have one of these like big anti-gun control kind of things. And it's not that the sentiment's wrong, but like I saw people talking about afterwards, just being like, dude, like we were kind of like a community that was trying to like come together after a tragedy, and we get what he's saying, but like you're just bringing this really divisive thing that's then kind of going to split the room a little bit. Like we've just had like our local school massacred. Like, our community is not, like, can we just hold off on everyone doing their politics for a sec and just understand that, like, we fucking knew these people, like, regardless of how you view certain issues, this just fucking happened.
Yeah.
And it's a tragedy, mate. Like, I think we're finally at that point where something has to be done. It is time to arm these fucking kids because they deserve a chance to fight back. You know, teacher, there's only one teacher. Shooter kills the teacher, he's now got 2 guns. You got 20 armed 8-year-olds in that room. Shoot's not going anywhere. I mean, they're not going to be good at aiming, but like, there's enough of them shooting in one direction that we should be okay.
They're not all like Canard in the Wire. They're not going to fucking ping Omar clean between the eyes once I know. Yeah, I know.
No, to YouTube, not supporting children having guns. I live in a country where we don't have guns. It's really nice. It's really great.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not even against guns in general. Like, I actually have more sympathy towards it than I think a lot of anti-gun people do. That's more just because I'm like, there's already 300 million guns there. Like, you can make them illegal. People aren't going to give them back.
So in Australia, the government just bought them back off them.
They did. They gave people money for it.
Yeah, it's an essential step, though, in getting to where they need to be. Because I think it's like over the last... like 40... No, can't be that. I think it's like 30 years. It's like an average of every 2 years there's a shooting massacre in America with more than 10 fatalities. I think they have numerous shooting incidents a year with like multiple victims, but specifically like over 10. It's been an average of like every other year, and like it obviously starts at 10, but it gets there's some like over 20. You know, it's not good. I don't understand the argument against tighter gun control when you have people with mental health issues with guns and children with access to guns. It's just not.
But I think that's one of the issues. It's like, even if you don't say, like, I can understand not wanting to the negatives of banning guns. But even if you say tighter control, a lot of people just like, no, that's just one step towards you taking them away completely. And it's like, no, sometimes it's just like a mediary step that you take so that you don't have to go in the extreme direction. But it's fucked up. Commiserations to the family. That's fucking tragic. I don't know why it is worse when it's 8-year-olds compared to 15-year-olds. I don't know why.
I don't know.
It's still fucked up either way, but just
All children are evil, and the older they get, the more bad stuff they've done. That's why it's worse. 8-year-old, there's still some innocence in there. 15-year-old, they had a good innings. Fuck 'em. Piece of shit. That's all I knew. I'm kidding.
I think in that statement, we understand why Josh does not have children yet.
Don't say yet. Don't say yet. Why would you say yet? Fucking yay. No.
I can't predict the future, mate. I can't predict the future.
I fucking can.
I can't control what happens in your life. On that note, we're going for about an hour and 20 minutes. I think that's a fucking strong effort, considering we had no MMA to talk about. Is there any other pressing issues? I know monkeypox is a thing, but
No.
I don't know anything about monkeypox. I don't know if I should be concerned
Wait.
about it. I'm just going to wear long
It's
sleeves.
nothing.
We've got to do the vote.
What vote?
Oh, for whether
Oh, wait.
or not we do the
Yeah, so
punishment.
firstly, do you guys want to do the punishment thing and the €5 kitty that the winner takes all?
Yes.
For,
Yeah, that's
Right.
fine. That's fine.
do you want to do it
Sweet.
for the one after this one, yeah?
Yes.
Alright, sweet.
Which, by the way, Sly, you're not going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to take the next 2 weeks. I'm going to win. But yeah, so starting the next one. So yeah, we're all in. Yeah.
Alright.
Nice.
And
Oh, that's been agreed.
we'll accept outside votes, by the way. Feel free to comment with your vote.
Unless you want to comment against me, in which case leave that fucking comment to yourself.
Well, Laurie's only
On
one
that note-
person, so.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed a slight departure from our usual material. We will be back with more MMA related content next week, where we will be doing a pick show, preferably early in the week, because I'm getting very mangled next weekend from about Thursday onwards. And yeah, pretty much just MMA after that. So guys, thanks for listening. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye Dave, bye Laura, bye Trife.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Laurie. Bye, Dave. Dave, you better comment, because we did this one for you, pal. These are the Dave episodes. Fade to black.
Mate,